Who's live at the White House, but also spent several years covering Capitol Hill. Kelly, this is only the third time we've seen a member of Congress expelled since the Civil War. And it's incredible when you consider just how tight the margins are right now in Congress. Give us some historical context here about what we just saw happen moments ago.
Well, in many ways, Joe, expulsion is a reflection of our hardened political times and sort of the distaste for what has become commonplace, the outlandish behavior of some political figures. Part of the reason we did not see members expelled before is not for a lack of bad behavior in the past or questionable conduct or judgment, but leadership in the past would quietly go to a member who was caught up in a scandal or misdeeds or some issue that was unacceptable to their colleagues and would give the dose of political reality that you are no longer welcome here. And so you would see resignations. In this instance, with George Santos, those kinds of conversations, pressure from his colleagues, all of the public attention hardened his desire to resist leaving instead of what we have seen many times in the past, which is a member simply putting their district first and stepping aside. From here at the White House, of course, whatever happens with Congress always has some impact on the president's agenda. That narrow margin in the House that Garrett and you were just talking about also means that President Biden, who says he wants to work with a bipartisan group and has some legislative accomplishments that clearly reflect a bipartisan track record, has more opportunity to do that in that whisper-tight kind of narrow margin that can at times mean more Democrats would be pulled along to vote on certain measures. It puts a great deal of pressure on House Speaker Mike Johnson to try to further a Republican agenda. But in these times where, whether it's on social media, in the ad space, and in the political discourse of our country, where things that are more outrageous have become more acceptable, today the Congress said enough and decided to expel a member with political consequences for his party and certainly an opportunity for Democrats to pick up that seat and certainly for the party, the Republicans in this case, and the broader Congress to reflect on what are the expectations of the public for honorable service. Everyone makes mistakes, everyone has bad days, but allegations of corrupt conduct, today the Congress said enough. Joe?
All right, Kelly O'Donnell reporting from the White House. Kelly, thank you so much. For more, let's bring in former Republican Congressman Carlos Curbelo, who's also an NBC News analyst. You know, I'm struck here by the fact the last time this happened, it was 2002. It was a Democrat, James Traficant of Ohio. The vote, 420-1. It was overwhelming. But keep in mind, at that point, Traficant, he had already been convicted of a crime. Santos is charged but not convicted at this point, which was sort of the issue where even going into this vote today, we didn't know what would happen. What's your reaction to this vote?
Joe, that's right. This is a historic vote because a member of Congress has been expelled. However, it's even, and if the members are not found guilty, typically they're allowed to stay. But in this case, Santos's conduct was so revolting to his colleagues, so embarrassing to the institution, that Republicans and Democrats decided to come together to expel him, despite the fact that he has not yet been convicted of a crime by a jury. And by the way, Joe, the group of legislators that are breathing the greatest sigh of relief today are Santos's closest colleagues in the state of New York. These are the members who led the last expulsion effort against Santos, which failed. This has been particularly difficult in the House. The other, of course, headwinds for Democrats are that President Biden's numbers are still low. So Republicans do believe they have a chance. But given what Santos has done during his short time in Congress, Republicans are certainly on defense in this Long Island district.
All right. Former Congressman Carlos Curbelo, thank you so much for your analysis during this historic moment. For just the sixth time in U.S. history, a member of the House of Representatives has been expelled. That concludes this NBC News special report. We will have much more ahead on our streaming network, NBC News Now online at NBCnews.com, and tonight on Nightly News. I'm Joe Fryer. Thank you for watching.